Welcome to the latest episode of the Informing Choices mini-pod. I've called this one Reflection and Speculation, and for the 100th episode of my podcast series, I wanted to do something a little different. To a lesser or greater extent, I've covered a lot of different aspects of communication, education and skills, enterprise and economy, food and agriculture, health and well-being, jobs and work, macro drivers of change, the natural environment, politics and geopolitics, social and societal shifts, sustainability, and inevitably, technology and systems. With my guests, I've covered topics ranging from work to the metaverse, government to the curing of aging, and artificial wombs to food, all of which got me thinking, what are the technology innovations that had a profound impact on life, society, and business 100 years ago? And what might the technological advancements be that achieve that same recognition in 100 years' time? Reflecting on the technological landscape from a century ago brings us to the 1920s, a decade marked by significant innovation and technological advancement. This period, often referred to as the Roaring Twenties, was characterized by radical, dramatic social and cultural change, much of it driven by technological breakthroughs. Here are 5 examples of what I think of as the most influential new technologies of that era. Firstly, automobiles. Although automobiles were invented earlier, it was during the 1920s that they became more accessible to more people, largely due to the pioneering assembly line techniques employed by Henry Ford. The Model T Ford, in particular, revolutionized transportation, changed the American landscape and society, and spurred growth in related industries like oil, steel, road construction, and suburban development. While geography, economics, particularly the economies of scale, and population density gave rise to different rates of growth of car ownership around the world, growth was still significant across the decade in many major markets, in turn driving significant social change. Secondly, commercial aviation. The 1920s saw significant advancements in aviation, with the first regular commercial air services starting, using aircraft such as the Armstrong Whitworth Argosy, de Havilland Hercules, Ford Trimotor, and the Fokker F-10. 1927 saw Charles Lindbergh's solo non-stop flight across the Atlantic in his specially built Spirit of St. Louis monoplane. These developments made air travel more feasible and laid the groundwork for the global airline industry, transforming long-distance international travel. Thirdly, television. Although television didn't become common in households until the 1940s and 50s, the foundational technologies were developed and demonstrated in the 1920s. John Logie Baird in the UK and Charles Francis Jenkins in the US were pioneers in mechanical television, with Baird successfully demonstrated the first working television system in 1925. Baird's televised silhouette image transmission and Jenkins' public broadcast of synchronized moving silhouettes were major milestones. These early experiments laid the groundwork for the eventual widespread adoption of television. Fourth, penicillin. Well, while not a technology in the conventional sense, the discovery of penicillin by Alexander Fleming in 1928 is one of the most significant medical breakthroughs of the 20th century. Although its therapeutic value wasn't realized until the late 1930s and 40s, in particular during the Second World War, penicillin fundamentally changed the treatment of bacterial infections. Before its introduction, there was no effective treatment for infections such as pneumonia, gonorrhea, or rheumatic fever, but the medicine went on to save countless lives. And fifth, electrification and national grids. The 1920s was a pivotal decade for the electrification of urban and rural areas, particularly in developed countries like the United States, the UK, and other parts of Europe. The establishment of national grids and the widespread distribution of electrical power, enabled by improvements in power generation, like more effective turbines, and transmission, higher voltage lines, allowed for electricity to travel further with less power loss, was transformational. From manufacturing industry to urban living and rural life, grids enabled the proliferation of electrical lighting, appliances, and modern conveniences we associate with the 20th century. These five and other technologies not only marked significant advancements in their respective fields, but also laid the groundwork for further improvements, influencing the development of modern society in a myriad of ways. Now let's look into the future, way beyond the present day, to 100 years into the future. Predicting the most influential technologies of the early 2100s involves extrapolating current technological trends and imagining the future breakthroughs that could reshape life, society, and business. While it's speculative, drawing from the trajectories of current research, insights from futurists, and scientific speculation, I can think of five areas where transformative technologies might emerge. Firstly, and at no great surprise, advanced artificial intelligence and autonomous systems. By the early 2100s, AI systems will have evolved far beyond current capabilities, achieving and surpassing advanced human-like performance on various intellectual tasks, including creativity and problem solving, but with high levels of autonomy. These systems might manage complex societal infrastructures, contribute to scientific discoveries, and offer personalized learning and healthcare, fundamentally altering human work, education, and leisure. Secondly, space exploration and colonization. The early 2100s could see humanity establishing permanent settlements on other planets and moons, driven by advances in space travel, propulsion systems, life support systems, and terraforming technologies. This era might also witness the exploitation of extraterrestrial resources, potentially easing the environmental pressures on Earth. It could also see environmentally damaging industries relocated from the surface of the Earth to orbit or even to the moon, asteroids, or other planets. Thirdly, biotechnology and genetic engineering. Advances in biotechnology might allow for sophisticated genetic engineering, not only curing genetic diseases, but also enhancing human capabilities. This era could see the integration of biology and technology, leading to extended lifespans, or even the end of aging, improved cognitive and physical abilities, and even the creation of new life forms. In addition, genetically modified crops engineered to have more resistance to pests and diseases, as well as harsher weather conditions, could improve food security and agricultural sustainability. And genetically engineered microbes could be used to clean up environmental pollutants more efficiently. Fourth, neurotechnology and brain-computer interfaces. Neurotechnology could transform how humans interact with machines and each other, enabling direct communication between brains and computers. This could enhance learning, enable new forms of communication, and provide unprecedented levels of control over our digital and physical environments. It might also enable ultra-realistic virtual experiences via a seamless link between our brains and the virtual environment, where boundaries between reality and simulation blur further, allowing for unparalleled levels of presence and interaction. Fifth, environmental and climate technologies. Large-scale renewable energy integrations such as solar, wind, geothermal, and tidal, technologies aimed at repairing and preserving the Earth's environment, including geoengineering and solar radiation management, advanced carbon capture and storage, and biodiversity preservation techniques will be crucial. These technologies will be essential in managing the planet's climate and ensuring the sustainability of its ecosystems, and ultimately the sustainability and viability of the human species. These areas represent the frontier of speculative technology, where the boundaries of science and imagination converge. The potential advancements in these fields could redefine the human experience, expand our capabilities, and open new frontiers in exploration and understanding the universe. A couple of questions for you, though. What are your 5 technological developments from 100 years ago? And what developments do you think might represent another step change during the first 2 decades of the 22nd century? Thank you, everyone, for watching and listening, not only to this episode, but the previous 99. Do tell your friends and colleagues about the Informing Choices mini-pod. Please do subscribe so you never miss another episode, and I'll see you next time.